rise one day at a time. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. They're here to get your day going fine. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio.
And here's your host, Miss Kim Robinson.
Hey, can I be transparent with y'all for a second? One of the most amazing things you can witness is a beautiful woman of God. So I wrote this song to my ladies. And it go like this. All the ladies stand up and get your hands up. If you know you're beautiful, then go ahead and clap it up. Go on and clap it up. Go on and clap it up. I tell you it's your song. Go on and clap it up. I tell you she's so bad, I can't really help it. Finding a good thing, I tell you this girl a blessing. Crash, she gon' rep it. Fly like a feather. Concerned with the Lord, not impressed with world pleasure. She beautiful. Yeah, baby girl, come on, put your hands up. Yeah, I know you beautiful. I know just what you stand for. You the classy type, ready to be a wife, but content in your singleness, holding it down, right, yeah. She worth more than your paper. You need more than jewelry and cars for you to date her. Not impressed with them lames. Her aim is the creator, so you can keep them whips and them chains. She for the savior, whoa. But she knows she still deserve it. In church every Sunday, living for the worship. Voice of an angel, humble like a servant. Smile so amazing, this girl is the greatest, yeah. So down to earth, she been beautiful since birth. To make a wife, you better be a man, she know her worth. And she not gonna let anybody walk her up out the church. You better be a man of God, willing to put him first. Stand up and get your hands up. If you know you're beautiful, then go ahead and clap it up. Go on and clap it up. Go on and clap it up. I tell you it's your song. Go on and clap it up. I tell you she's so bad, I can't really help it. Finding a good thing, I tell you this girl a blessing. Crash, she gon' rep it. Fly like a feather. Concerned with the Lord, not impressed with world pleasure. She beautiful. Yeah, baby girl, go on, put your hands up. Cause I know you beautiful, I know just what you stand for. Felt a lot of pain in your life, you wear it so well, so elegant, the style of your life. So now I can't tell, well, yeah. Single mother raising a kid to a wife, holding it down. Husband handling biz, so on campus, a model to women on how to live. Not persuaded by the pressure your parents give, for real, for real. Yeah, this your song, so go on, clap it up. Tell the DJ, put it on and keep it on repeat. See wonderful women about every week, but to see the women living for God is so sweet. Got a nice walk, matching your talk is unique. You so beautiful, forget what they heard, they can't see. All my ladies standing firm in the word, I get weak, but I only want uno, you know. All the ladies stand up and get your hands up. If you know you're beautiful, then go ahead and clap it up. Go on and clap it up. Go on and clap it up. I tell you it's your song. Go on and clap it up. I tell you she's so bad, I can't really help it. Finding a good thing, I tell you this girl a blessing. Crash, she gon' rep it. Fly like a feather. Concerned with the Lord, not impressed with world pleasure. She beautiful. All my ladies stand up and get your hands up. All my ladies stand up and get your hands up. All my ladies stand up and get your hands up. Now get your hands up. Now get your hands up. If you're beautiful when you know it, then gon' clap it up. If you're beautiful when you know it, then gon' clap it up. If you're beautiful when you know it, then gon' clap it up. Gon' clap it up. Gon' clap it up. I wanna hear you clap it up. All my beautiful women. What you been so shy for? You know you beautiful, right? I tell you she's so bad, I can't really help it. If they told you otherwise, I tell you this girl a blessing. They lie. She gon' rep it, fly like a feather. Concerned with the Lord, not impressed with world pleasure. She beautiful.
All right. Happy Saturday, happy Saturday, happy Saturday. Thank you for joining me on Next Level with Trenace. I am so happy that you are spending 60 minutes, give or take, of your 1,440 minutes of your Saturday with me. Today is third Saturday, so you know what today is. That's right. The Money Maven is here, and we are talking about that MONEY. We all need it. We got to have it. It is the root of all evil. It's the root of all evil. But it's not evil, but we need money to live. So the Money Maven is going to talk to us about some money today. Hey, girl, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, how are you?
I am doing good. How are you?
Those random hand claps are hilarious to me. I'm well.
Oh. So what are we talking about today? Because you always bring us some good information, some good resources about how to get some money, how to be in business. What are we talking about money with today?
I want to talk briefly about this whole new fad of what is coming to the surface, and it's so many different names. It's like a money gifting private community. Susu is what the Africans called it, but I wanted to talk about that today because there are some very, very well-structured gifting communities out here that are successfully doing what they're supposed to do, but at the same time, there are a lot of scammers with these gifting communities, and you really have to use your eye of discernment and figure out, or at least let someone else go through it first that you know, or trust the person that is telling you this is one of the good ones. So have you heard of it? It's a gifting where it's a small community. I like to say it's group economics at its finest in our community. Have you heard of it?
I have. A young lady at my job had invited me into it a couple of months ago, and that was probably the first time that I had heard of it. I've heard of it. Then it was like a space where I didn't hear anything about it, and then I started hearing about it multiple times. But what scared me away from it with my friend is probably 2 weeks later, there was an article about gifting circles, and then there was then there was something on the news about how it's a scam. I don't think that person that I don't think that person was involved in a scam, but I'd heard that there are some scams about it, and then I heard that there have been some good things about it, and then of course there's some bad things about it. But there's a lot. That's life. There's good and bad.
Right. Yep. And that's the part where I say you have to really just evaluate what you're doing, and pretty much you have to have faith in the person that is introducing it to you. For your listeners who may not be familiar with the gifting circles, Susu, however they hear about it, basically the IRS allows us as individuals to gift any one individual up to $15,000 per year. In a lifetime, you can receive, at this point, as of 2020, you can receive $11.58 million in gifting. And a lot of people didn't realize they raised this cap, and it's not as taboo as it used to be, because have you heard of crowdfunding?
Yep.
Okay, so you get your GoFundMe. It's the GoFundMe kind of platform where someone has a catastrophe or whatever their cause is, and you donate whatever it is to them that you wish. For the donor, which let's say in this case would be me, if I donate less than $15,000, you don't have to pay taxes on it.
Interesting. So, you just
so if you don't
me.
have to say it again.
I said you just shocked me because I hadn't even really thought about it like that. I hadn't even really thought about it like that, but I know that George Floyd, when he was murdered, he had his sister had a GoFundMe, and his brother had a GoFundMe. His sister's, hers was almost $1 million, like a week after he was killed, but his the brother, his was at 2 point some million.
Wow.
Within that same week of his death. So most of that is, I guess, tax free. That dollar amount that you said is tax free, but the other portion is going to be taxed.
Correct. So if you now that's $15,000 per individual. So that's just one individual. So if a million individuals give you $1 and you have $1 million, that's tax free. You get what I mean? Because the 11 million is over your lifetime, but we're talking about the annual limit of the $15,000 before you have to pay taxes is per individual. So, so everybody can give you $10,000 and you don't pay taxes on it because they were individual gifts. So, and that is the distinction. I want to dispel the fear that is in our community, because these type of opportunities, that is an interest-free loan. That it's not even a loan; it's an interest-free gift. That is, you also don't pay taxes on it up to that limit I was explaining, and it can help you, especially in times like this where it's hard to get a loan right now. So many millions of Americans have lost their jobs, so they're unemployed. So these type of communities are on the rise. You just really, really, really have to be, careful and look at their rules and regulations, because I've heard of some that, and the amount that you can give. So basically, we skipped right into it because we're both familiar with it, but the gifting communities, what it is typically the standard process is you voluntarily gift a stranger, let's just say $500, and then you're placed into a system that has a board that has 4 spaces where you can be upgraded 1, 2, 3 times, and then you're the person receiving this $500 per the 8 people on your board. So it sounds really confusing, and if people need details, basically you need to Google it. But that's basically what it is. Every 8 people. So I may introduce you to it, and I say, okay, Tracy, it's $500 to come in, but you got to bring 2 people with you. You would gift someone, and it may not necessarily be me, because if I'm not sitting in the seat where I've been upgraded to the place where now all of the gifts come to me. So that's just an example. And then there's a time frame attached with it. Let's just say it's 30 days. So one person gives up $500. That's $500. You have to bring in 2 people at a minimum. They both have to have $500. So now, when you bring those 2 in, you're going to get upgraded to the next level. And once you're upgraded 3 times, so when your 2 people bring in their 4 people, you get upgraded to the next seat. You follow it, so you keep getting upgraded as the mandatory 2 people are being placed in your organization, or let's just say community, in your community. When you get to the receiving, the blessing seat is what they call it typically, then you receive the $500 that 8 different people are putting in to get into the community. And then they get upgraded, and they will be on the receiving end of the $4,000. Was that clear? 8 times 5 is 440. So that would be $4,000. Okay. So that's how you're blessed. Now, that would be 8 different people giving you $500. So the beauty of the community is when you have one that is structured the right way, those 8 different people know that they have to give the gifting because they want to receive in 4 upgrades themselves and 3 more upgrades. You see, so you kind of have to, number one, deal with a community that is faith-based. And I say faith-based so you don't have the riffraff, the ratchetness going on where somebody may say, I'm collecting all this money and then I'm gone. So you just have to really, really be careful when you're dealing with it, but it can be a wonderful thing. And typically, now I'll give you a clue. Typically, when you have a community that says you can do this as many times as you like, those, I would put my beady eye on those. I'm not suggesting that they are illegal or that they're scams. What I'm suggesting is I'm going to put my beady eye on them and look very closely and watch what they're doing, because the process is supposed to be given to you for you to pay it forward. It's not for you to become abundantly wealthy or greedy and you just keep going in and in and in and in. You're going in every time, because when you get your payout, why wouldn't you just go back in and get $500? This is tax-free money. And you have
right.
a $15,000 limit per individual, and the likelihood of one individual paying you again when you're in that big of a community is slim and none. So everything is typically legal. The IRS says it's okay. You can give anybody money you want as long as you don't give them over $15,000, that one person.
Ah, that is so interesting. Thank you for sharing that information. So, what are the things that you, as a financial strategist, would advise against? What should a person look for to prevent themselves, to kind of keep their beady eye on before making a decision into jumping into that?
I would look for privacy, because typically these communities, if you are shouting about it and just inviting anybody, that means you're inviting anybody. So with you inviting anybody, there's no real way to track who's coming in and who's responsible for what money. You get what I mean? So if I can post it on social media and then they just can get in and there's no structure, just bring your $500 and you get in. No kind of requirements, because that presents itself as, we just looking for that, run that bread over here. That's all we want. We just want you to run that to us. That seems like a community that may not be as stable and trustworthy as a community that says, hey, number one, we want to make sure you're educated on what this actually is that you're getting involved in. So you watch a webinar. Those are, so popular now. That may not even be the one thing that I would consider to be a red flag, but that's the one thing I would say you definitely want to get into a community that is going to educate you on the process. And while you're watching the webinar and they're explaining who they are, really, literally evaluate who they are, because people tend to, if they run long in a conversation, and let's just say the webinar is 30 minutes, you tend to get a feel for who they really are if you pay attention. If you don't have the dollar signs in your eyes and you're counting as they're talking, you're like, okay, so I know 15 people, and if I can get them in, don't do that. Go in with an open mind, but evaluate at the same time. You're not expecting to be taken advantage of, but be aware. That's what I like to say. You don't expect it, but be ready. So you want a community that's going to educate you. You want them to have rules and regulations in place, codes of conduct, ethics, because those are the things that you need to know that is a priority to them, because then you know that they're going to hold someone accountable for every action that is taken in that community. Is a winner, and then maybe the person definitely who brought it to me. That is the biggest thing. I had an attorney bring a community to me, and I don't down anything because everybody has an off night, but the conversation on the call was so ratchet and ridiculous. And as much as I go back and forth because I am in the community, so I'm familiar with the community, and I grew up in an urban community. So my urban dialogue is the core of who I am. That educated side of me allows me to be able to rotate between the two at will, depending on how comfortable I am with whoever I'm talking about. But that knowledge base is still there. So even if I'm hollering at you on the corner, or if I'm speaking to you intelligently in a boardroom, the vernacular I use is going to be different based on the audience I'm speaking to. But at no time do you question my knowledge. And what I did was question the knowledge of everybody who was presenting to me. I was probably on the webinar, maybe 7 minutes. So, because I have a very low tolerance, as you know, in my personal life, I have a very low tolerance for what I like to call shenanigans. And when I start feeling and hearing shenanigans and I'm dealing with money, you don't have to. I don't look for the second, third, fourth red flag. I look for a lukewarm flag, and then I'm out. I've just learned to have that about me. I believe what I see. I don't question it or give excuses, even in my personal life. So that's just a little tidbit. Even these men, you get that little warning, you're like, I don't really know how I feel about that. Run, girl, run, please, because something else is going to come up.
Right.
Okay. So that's what I would suggest. And then the other thing is what I mentioned, and I want to highlight it a little bit. You want there to be a limit to what can be done, because what that will do is it will deter the person who doesn't really have great intentions, because now it's too hard. Oh, they only going to let me do this 3 times over here, but I've heard of 7 of them that let me do it a gazillion times. That community that says, oh, come on, you can do as many as you want, they don't have any, in my mind, behind it, because they're just saying, as long as you got your money, you in. All money is not good money. And I don't even want to be connected to the energy of some people. And being in that community, you really are connected to whoever you're doing business and engaging with. So those are the things I would look for, basically. And I would also recommend that we have a plan. Don't just get involved in these type of things, because that is a blessing, but have a plan, and I don't want to speak too much, and I think you should speak about it, but if you're not comfortable, we'll skim over it. But you know what your plan was and what you did during this quarantine. You know how you handled the blessings you received. You had a plan. I'm talking about you, Tracy.
Yeah.
You had a plan.
Yeah.
And how accomplished did you feel at the end result? And you like, okay, I see my progress now. And that's the same thing you need to do anytime you have a monetary blessing. We're only speaking monetary because we're talking money. This is Financial Saturday. So we're not talking about, don't come at me with all the other stuff, emotions. No, we're just talking money. So monetarily, when you receive a blessing, do something with it, because God had a plan for you with that blessing. And if you squander it and you just go and get the latest Jordans or whatever your passion is, you're going to regret that later.
Yeah, because this pandemic, you and I both talked many times privately that this is come up time. Although there are a lot of people that are unemployed, the employment, what they're doing, you're getting whatever your unemployment amount is, plus an extra $600 per week. That's enough to pay off bills. Everything should be at zero. Everything, if it isn't, it can be at zero. And then the other thing is this is opportunity to operate in things that you were too busy to operate in. You're able to really sit down and dive down into that business, connect with other people to dust your dreams off and breathe new life into them. So and a lot of times what stops us is not only we don't have the time to do that dream, but sometimes we can have the time and don't have the money. This time, we got time and money.
Yep.
Time and money. I have been fortunate enough to maintain my job, but I have been fortunate enough. God saw fit to kick some doors open for me during this pandemic. And I can say I have been very happy, overly, exceedingly happy and blessed. There have been some things that happened to me and for me that I don't believe would not have happened had it not been for this time, that I took advantage of this time. And this is time that we should be taking advantage of nurturing and nourishing this time with family, with business, creative and witty ideas, and yes, money, because we can't say that we don't have it. So our unemployment may not come the first 2 weeks, but when it comes when it comes within a month, they giving you whatever it was for that time period. They're giving you that backdated amount. I know
right,
people
it's
that
retroactive.
are getting yeah, I know people that got $6,000, $5,000, $4,000 when everything got caught up. And those people that I know that happened for them, they made moves in business. They paid some bills and made some moves in business. This is not the time to say that I can't do this. I'm just. You shouldn't be struggling. Maybe you're struggling emotionally, but if you still got your insurance, most jobs that have insurance have EAP. Take advantage of the EAP employee assistance program. They have structures for mental health. They even have structures in place for finances. So take advantage of that. You still have your job. Take advantage of that.
That's it.
I didn't mean to go that far, but still.
No, but that's true. And on the legal side, I just want to touch on that a little bit because I'm always a skeptic. So, of course, I had to dig a little deeper into the gifting. And gifting within communities, let's just say in layman's terms, as long as you get back what you expected, or at least what you put out, there are no legal limitations on that process. So the flip side to that is, and this is where the scammers get over, there's no legal recourse either because it's so private. There's no legal. I mean, what are you going to tell somebody? Because typically they deal in cash. So you meet up. You meet up with the person that is gifting you because you're in the blessing seat. You meet up with them. They give you whatever the amount is for that community. And then you guys shake hands and keep it moving. You thank them for their blessing. And then eventually they will be upgraded 3 levels and they will be meeting someone to get their blessing. So it's kind of like you have to believe in reciprocity. What I'm putting out is what I'm expecting to get back. You have to believe in karma, and those are things that I live by. Reciprocity in my life is mandatory. If you don't give me what I'm giving you, even down to my children, if you don't give me what I give you, then we have to talk, and I'm going to have to eliminate you because if not, then I'm going to feel bad. And you and I were briefly talking about consistency. That's part of reciprocity. If you are going to be inconsistent with me, then I can't have that in my life, me personally, because inconsistency, even with this process, it shows you something isn't right when it's inconsistent. And you made me look at it that way. I wasn't, and that's why I brought it up, because you brought that to my attention. I'm like, man, Tracy said something today. She don't even know. Wait till I tell her. But, yeah, inconsistency rides right along with what I believe in, with the reciprocity. You know, we have to meet each other 50-50, or I'm going to feel some kind of way because someone is giving more than they're receiving. And as a human, that's going to make you feel some kind of way.
Right.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that what we're giving is exactly the same thing, but it's of equal value.
Yep.
Of equal value. And so many people don't understand that. My pastor said during Friday's devotion, trust is the currency exchange in a relationship.
I get it.
Trust is the currency exchange in a relationship. And right now, what you're in the whole conversation that we're having about this gifting circle is I have to trust, and it's currency manifested, and it's currency in that, and it's another type. The trust part is the currency as well. So there's two types of currency in this exchange. And
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't like. That makes so much sense. So much
and
sense.
I stumbled on a movie. I was telling my daughter, and she just gave me the name of the movie. I watched it at, like, as you know, I get up at 3:34 in the morning. And I was like, I want to watch something, and it was Juneteenth. You know, it was rolling on the heels of Juneteenth, and they still had Amazon still had up the, dedicated to Black movement type movies. And there's a movie called Fair Hope, and it's narrated by Whoopi Goldberg. And it was just interesting to me that there was it focuses on a benevolent society, which is what the gifting circle is. But it was way back in like 1858 when it started. And they were focusing on this group, Fair Hope, in Alabama. And it's so informative because you're like, man, that's right. Back in slavery times, they had to share everything. Just for one person to get ahead, community had to come together, and that's where it takes a village comes from. It takes your entire community sometimes to help one person get up, and when they get up, that person's supposed to reach back and bring somebody else up. So this whole concept has been around a long time, and I would tell you, Tracy, I know you like, those movies you were telling me about, Harriet. You should watch that one, Fair Hope. And the sad part is it brought it from back then and how we valued each other as individuals, as a Black community, and to the present date. And it turned into that whole area and concept turned into what is now called Footwash, Alabama. And that turned into like the things that sell. So sex, drugs, and music. That's what it turned into, like a fest. Started out with such great intentions where the community, everybody was helping everybody else. And that one person got out, then the next person got out. And what they started doing, which is what you have to be leery of, they started bringing strangers back into the community in Alabama. In this movie, I'm saying, they started bringing, girlfriends, boyfriends would bring their significant others back for the annual celebration of those that were promoted out of the community. So you got your, Mom's Mabley type grandmama and them holding it down, owning the land, getting together with the fish fry, and that's on Fridays, and you pay 15 cents for the fish, to now vendors started coming in when these Alabama original up-and-comings went out and became urbanized, come back with all these ideas.
I gotta watch this tonight then.
Yeah.
You're going to have to tell me
I'm
going to have. That'll be my movie for tonight.
Please do, and then let me know what you think about it, because it's amazing how you see how it is such real life. Like, our ancestors were really trying to make this happen for us, and they were prospering. And then here we come with the urban side, and the new black folks come in with all these shenanigans, and then they had to, these old antiquated people speaking broken English versus the new up-and-coming community had to reclaim the original land, because their sons, daughters, nieces, nephews, granddaughters were taking over this once a year, and the police were so scared they wouldn't even go into. It's like what's that called here, Tracy? The Chicago. It was like that.
Right.
Like, it only happened once a year. They came back for a certain number of days, and it was supposed to be a fest celebrating the people who got out, and they come back and visit their grandparents and, just have a good old country time.
Kind of like a family reunion.
Yep. But we, how people get a hold of some, our cousins get a hold to it and muck it all up. And it was just like, you got to be kidding me. How could we turn something so sacred into something so demonized and, just a little bit bad? But I like how it turned out, because they started to, get incorporated and make some rules and regulations. And that goes back to what I was saying before. You need some rules and regulations in place, or people just get beside themselves. So I recommend that.
This is probably, it's kind of on topic, but what about this community stuff, but a little bit outside. Well, it's kind of, it's shaky. So during a show that I was a part of on Tuesday, we talked about Toomsboro. I think I emailed you Toomsboro and a lot of other places that were on sale. Toomsboro, Georgia, is on sale for $1.2 million. And it looked like a slave town, but the people who are selling it, or the person who is selling it, whomever is selling it, they don't want you to tear it down. Mm-hmm. But then in the listing of emails that I sent you, it had parts of Spain that were on sale. There are parts of the United States that are on sale. There was even an island or two that was on sale. So with that being said, in all of the now, all of a sudden there's a change in the climate of how people are beginning to feel. I don't know why it's all of a sudden now, because it's been going on for years. I appreciate it. But what if, one, you and I have talked about community economics and people that were same-minded purchasing a place and structuring a society and all moving into this place. Roseboro did it. Tulsa, Oklahoma did it. A lot of times we had communities that were for us, by us, but then they were destroyed by others. But now, the way that the world is now, it's destroyed by us, because the only thing it takes is one person to have one more penny than somebody else, and then they want to be the boss. Or as one of the guests was saying, I want to be the sheriff. Then somebody else say, I want to be the sheriff. Then everybody wants to be the leader, but nobody is following. Do you ever think that based on that movie that you saw, that we can get back to a growth economics as a community? Do you think that we can ever get to a point where we're loving each other like it used to be? Because it used to be we didn't have nobody but us. Right now, we still don't have anything but us. But things, trinkets, have become more valuable than people. Trinkets have replaced people. Did I say a lot?
I was just waiting for you to finish the thought, because you know that I have since many years ago. I've always believed in group economics, but what is different now than it was back then, we got two things, and this is my personal opinion, so I don't want anybody calling me or saying I'm racist or any of that, because I'm not. Money is green, and that's what I put as a priority. And does it make sense? Okay, let's go. So I don't care, white, black, Hispanic, whatever. However, your question, in my opinion, can we ever as a community get back to that? I would say being nice with my response. Our community has been watered down a lot. So you don't have a lot of people like we did back in those days that you could look at them and say, yep, that's grandmama and them. The darker skin, more melanated, more those firm family beliefs. Our community is getting so watered down, most people you don't even really know what they are, but you know they got a touch of black in them. And with that being said, that brings a second, and I don't care about that because you know my personal life. Listen, everybody likes what they like, and my children aren't 100% me, so I get it, the watered down version is what I'm saying. So, but what it does, and I'm only speaking to what we're talking about. You said, can we get back as a community to that based on where we are today? And the reason I say no is because when you have a mixed, mulatto, integrated family where the mother is one ethnicity and the father is something else, you're bringing two different cultures into one household. So at that point, if we're saying marriage is 50-50, you can't focus or you can't favor one culture over the other. So what you end up doing is being very neutral. And I know this from experience. You become very neutralized. So in my mind, our ancestors and during the slavery times and a little bit past that, I would say like into the 70s, that black power was so strong because that is all we had in our household. That was it. There was rarely an opportunity for us to get involved with another culture. So we had to love ourselves. We had to love up on each other. Now we don't. That's my humble opinion.
That's deep because, I belong to this group of this growing group of all is a business community for us. Your pathway into it is to be us. And my latest conversation to one of the administrators, she said, well, the wife is not one of us. She is Caucasian, and because she married one of us, she is of the expectation that now she is official. No, ma'am, you're not official.
And you hate to say it like that, but that's the reality.
Yeah. It's just so hard.
it
it's
is.
so hard to deal with that type of thing.
But we can still, now that was just for your half of your question answer with us loving up on each other like that. There is a small group that you can get together of like-minded that can really cooperate. Like, you have to get that right mix, though. Like you were saying in a panel you were on earlier this week or a call you were involved in, 2-3 people want to be the chief or the sheriff. I'm not one of those people. I'm always willing to be in the background because as long as my bank account is equivalent, I'm good. I don't need notoriety. What I need is to be doing something that's good and everybody is well balanced and equal in this arrangement. So we're all winning. It's a win-win for everybody, not one person winning more than the other.
And that was what the first person said. I want to be the sheriff, and she started laughing. And then she said, somebody else want to be the sheriff. She said, but see, like-minded people who have an understanding that there's going to be a leader, there's going to be a follower, there's going to be some heads of things. That person had an understanding of what it takes. So we referred back to the Willie Lynch letter. And this is part, although this is Financial Saturday, this is community. This is community for real. The Willie Lynch letter, there's a book, but I found the actual speech that he gave on the riverbanks on how to keep the slaves fighting each other. And we're still dealing with that, colorism.
Yeah.
That's the main one, colorism. Still competing with each other with who has what.
Yeah.
I don't have any more than anybody else. I try to help everybody, just like you try to help everybody. But everybody is not of that. They don't value helping others at that level because I got to have more than you. Yeah. And that's financial. That's financial. And although we're not enslaved in chains, our minds are not free financially because we don't know how to handle money, but we're not taught how to handle money.
Mm-hmm.
Our minds are not free when it comes to competition because I got to have more than she got. But we don't know what it took for her to get that. We don't know what type of hard work, what type of sleepless nights, what she had to sacrifice. But we want that.
Yeah.
Because that is status.
Yep.
I don't need status. I just, when I die, well, when I turned 49, I said that the next 50 years are going to be better than the past 48. So that's what I'm on. When I die, I want my legacy to be that I helped as many people as I can. And I want it to be like, oh, I'm so sad she died. Like, oh, she dead for real? I don't want that type of legacy. I want to leave.
Yeah.
I want my kids to be sad. My kids and my grandkids and maybe my great grandkids to be sad that Mimi left or Mommy left. But man, she left us all of this, and we could share with other people. That's legacy. GoFundMe is not a legacy.
Nope. And you know what? There's an insurance agent that was coining the phrase, GoFundMe is not an insurance policy. Because, you know, at one point when GoFundMe first came out, everybody was saying, well, you don't need insurance because you just put up a GoFundMe account and all your friends will give. You don't know what people are going to give. So you have to create your own. Yeah, you have to create your own strategy with all of this, and you have to you just have to do it yourself, and that may be one of the other things that is putting us in the predicament that we're in, with us not working together, my goodness, you know how much further I get when I enlist partners. Now, I had a friend last week said, you have more business partners than anybody. I can't keep up. I said, yep, but I have a diversified portfolio, and I don't have to be the expert in everything, because what I do is just what Warren Buffett recommends, and I didn't even know he did this until someone at a financial seminar told me that that's what my motto is, and I don't follow people. Like, I don't walk around following experts and all of that. I listen because they're where I want to be, and I respect their expertise, but I don't sit around and memorize and mimic myself after a Warren Buffett. I am me. So
right.
One of the things that I've always pride myself in is, if I help you because it's something you like to do, if I invest in that, you got the passion for it. I don't. You are a writer. I can't write a grocery list. So if I invest in Trenace, now I have access to a phenomenal writer who has a passion for writing, and my investment is going to turn into a return, because that is what she likes to do. That's what Tracy is on. I can't be the writer. I can't be the writer, the credit fixer, the business credit builder, and all of that. I know we're running short, but that, I'm just saying, you have to enlist group economics on some level for you to be successful. You just can't do it by yourself. So building the wealth, I think that a lot of people are on the right track, but it's going to take some time for us to relearn how this whole business thing works and actually trust it. So, and they'll cut us off, so we better start wrapping this up.
All right. So, I'm going to ask you, and I know I don't normally ask you, what would be 3 takeaways that you want the listeners to have, that you want them to take away from our conversation today?
Trust in a benevolent society, which is the gifting circle. Just, that's the one thing. You can trust it, but the second thing would be pose about it and do your research. So do your due diligence and then execute. And if you do that with everything, you're going to be successful. That would be my takeaways. Believe and have faith that a blessing is around the corner for you. Complete your due diligence and then execute. Make a move. If it's the wrong move, you get right back up and say, man, I didn't lose too much, because you are going to win eventually.
And how can people follow you if you're on social media?
New Wealth Network, NEW, WEALTH, Network, NETWORK. New Wealth Network, that's on Facebook and what am I on? Instagram. And I got to get back to social media, because I had taken a break with all of these opportunities over this quarantine. So, yes, please. And any questions, I always tell people, any questions, email them to you, because they probably have your information. But email them to you, and then I'm happy to answer any questions on the next show.
And real quick, you have your own show coming soon.
I have my what?
You have your own show coming soon.
Yes, I do, but we'll talk about that next time.
All right, so that gives everybody something to look forward to. So will still be monopolizing her time to look forward to the Money Maven hosting her own show. How dope is that? So
when will I be doing that?
Well, we're just waiting on the schedules to come back, and then it's going to be it'll be by the end of July.
Yep. So we'll be promoting it and having a great time, and then, yes, and I'm open. I'm excited about it, actually. And then I'm going to even show my face. How about that?
Oh, I can't believe
it.
I
know. Well, you see the time, and I get nervous. Look at me trying to be the producer or whatever that's called. I'm like looking at my timer, like, okay, because we get long ways.
Well, we got it, and I want to thank everybody for rocking with us this afternoon. The coronavirus is still out here in a lot of areas. In my area, it's grown astronomically since the last holiday, and here we are upon another holiday. So be safe. Cover your mouth when you cough and sneeze. The ultimate act of self-love is to stay in the house. Don't go to work when you're sick. That's super selfish and super stupid, because I'm back home under quarantine because I went to work and someone selfish came to work. So now I'm quarantined until Thursday of next week. Still happy because I'm back at home doing what I love. Join me next Saturday on Next Level with Trenace. I love you. Be authentic. And see you guys next week. Goodbye.
Took me a while to get to this place. I'm so glad I'm in this space, accepting all my flaws, embracing authenticity, 'cause there's nobody